the channel, I'm back to break down this 14-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into the breakdown, if you don't know what this channel is all about, new to the channel, I'll be here all MLB DFS season long, breaking down these MLB DFS slates to help you guys become better MLB DFS players, help you guys win some money night in and night out. If that's something you enjoy, something that you find valuable, and if you enjoy the content throughout this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Definitely going to get plenty of value out of it. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new content that I upload. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. It's the guy that I'm picking to go deep tonight. On a roll with those, looking to keep it going. And lastly, if you're getting very serious about MLB DFS, go ahead and check out my MLB DFS premium package. There's a link below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own MLB DFS lineups. I think that's going to provide you with plenty of value as well at a very friendly price tag. I think you win that money back very quickly that you invest into that. So with that being said, let's go and start breaking down this slate today. As always, let's go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And I like to go ahead and figure out the top pitchers we want to play in the slate first, and then we break down hitters on the second half. Top guy on the slate today, as far as K rate is concerned, is going to be Josiah Gray, taking on the Atlanta Braves. Comes with a 32.1% K overall, an 18.8 swing strike rate, very impressive, with a 36.6% K rate against righties and a 27% K rate against lefties. Problem is he's been getting a lot of slugging to both sides. He's a little bit of a raw talent, and he's taking on an Atlanta Braves team tonight. That isn't the easiest matchup in the world. So at only 6K on FanDuel and over on DraftKings, he is priced at 8-1. On FanDuel at only 6K, I would be willing to take maybe a few risks on him. He's been limited to right around 8 pitches as is. So it's a little bit tough. Last time against the same Atlanta team, though, 10 Ks, 1 earned run over 5 innings pitched. At a friendly price tag on FanDuel, that might be able to get the job done for you. If you want to fit in some major spend-up bats on DraftKings, I'm a little less likely to go there. So Robbie Ray taking on the Seattle Mariners. Great matchup for Robbie Ray tonight. Comes with a 30.2% K overall, a 14.9 swinging strike rate, 29.3% K rate against righties, and a 33.9% K rate against lefties. Very, very good. The only thing that really he gets to him is right-handed power. And when it comes to the matchup that he has tonight with the Seattle Mariners, it doesn't get much better because this is a team that we really just don't fear, to be honest. In Seattle, great pitching ballpark for Robbie Ray tonight. As far as pulling up the diagram that I always like to show you guys for Seattle, you can see the home runs pretty neutral straight away, with a lot of red going on across the board to right and left-handed batters in T-Mobile Park. So I like targeting this ballpark. I like the fact that he's a 176 favorite. I like the fact that I'm not scared of the Seattle Mariners bats at all, and I think he should have plenty of K upside. He's priced up to 10.7 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 9.2. So much friendlier price tag on DraftKings for Robbie Ray. It looks like we have some pricing discrepancies on the slate, so just keep that in mind on the site you're playing on. We have Zach Wheeler taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Less than an ideal matchup, but Zach Wheeler does a tremendous job keeping the ball on the ground. He gets a bunch of strikeouts with a 29.4% K overall, only a 22.7% hard contact rate. That's the top on the slate by far. Really good ground ball, fly ball stuff to both hitters, as mentioned, with a 27.7% K rate against righties and a 31% K rate against lefties. Definitely going to have interest in him no matter what the matchup is. And when we're looking at the Vegas lines and what's expected to happen tonight as far as Vegas is concerned, the Reds only have a 3.65 implied run total. Zach Wheeler is a 181 favorite. Comes in at 11.2 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 10.3. And last time out, 11 Ks, 0 earned runs over 9 innings pitched. Complete game. That is good stuff. So, I mean, that's just optimal play there out of Zach Wheeler. Obviously, like I said, not the best matchup tonight, but we do have another guy in Blake Snell taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks, who does have a great matchup. The Arizona Diamondbacks really don't scare us, with a 28.6% K overall, a 25.2% K rate against righties, and a 40.9% K rate against lefties. I do think that Blake Snell could pay off for you in a big way tonight. Not exactly having the best season, honestly, and not exactly the best stuff that we were used to seeing out of him when he was in Tampa Bay, but still comes in as a 175 favorite. The Arizona Diamondbacks only do have a 3.68 implied run total, and he's always got the stuff to go out there and give you a bunch of strikeouts. So while it could be a little risky, he's definitely viable. He's 9K on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, and priced at 8.4. And he has been mowing down hitters as of late. In the last game, taking on the same Arizona Diamondbacks team, he had 13 strikeouts over 7 innings pitched. That is very, very good. So we definitely have a little bit of a sample size taking on the same squad. Hopefully he can repeat it again. Going to be a viable play. Tyler Mahle taking on the Philadelphia Phillies, a team that's been striking out all season long. They've added a few low strikeout bats in their lineup, but with that being said, throughout the middle of the heart of the order, it's still pretty strikeout heavy. And Molly is definitely a guy that can get strikeouts. He can give a lot of hard contact, but he does have a 28.4% K overall with a 25% K rate against righties, a 32.1% K rate against lefties. Actually, really good against lefties as far as strikeouts concerned. Unfortunately for us, it looks like the Phillies are only going to roll out about 4 lefties. Still respectable, and as far as the 8 bats are concerned, it's half are going to be lefties. So Molly could maybe be a high risk, high option for you, high upside option. Shane McClanahan taking on Minnesota, definitely a guy you could be targeting in a major way with a 15.7% swinging strike rate, a 27.6% carry against righties, and a 30.3% carry against lefties. Guy has proven time and time again that he can strike out a bunch of hitters. Really, the only problem that we have with him is his pitch count. He's been limited to right around 90 pitches. But even with that being said, he's been getting around 7 to 8 Ks per game. And he's taking on a Minnesota squad tonight that is very good against lefties, but does have their fair share of strikeouts. So another high upside option for you guys. 9.5 on FanDuel, over on DraftKings, and price at 7.8. So that price tag on DraftKings is a lot friendlier for him. Charlie Morton. Once we get down past, pretty soon we're going to hit a spot where we're not getting all too interested in a lot of these guys. But overall, there are quite a few options. It's a huge slate. I don't want to ramble, but we do have quite a few options, and a lot that we've discussed so far are going to be viable, with Charlie Morton taking on the Washington Nationals, another guy that's going to be looking to. 25.5% carry against righties, a 30.9% carry against lefties. Actually does strike out lefties at a much higher clip. So if it's at all possible to target a left-handed heavy lineup, that's not going to hurt our feelings with him. The Nationals are pretty right-handed heavy for the most part. They have added an additional couple lefties, but I'd expect Charlie Morton to be a pretty heavy favorite in this one. Definitely has some strikeout upside and definitely can go deep into ball games. Patrick Sandoval taking on Houston Astros. If you want to go to him, you can. He does have a high swing strike rate. Honestly, my problem is the Houston Astros just really don't strike out a lot. That's a little bit scary for me to be targeting them. They have a 4.85 implied run total. I think on a huge slate like this, we don't really need to go to Sandoval. Julio Urias taking on the New York Mets. Similar, I guess. The matchup's just really not that great. As far as the Mets are concerned here, breaking down their lineup, they do only have a 3.63 implied run total. It is in New York, which is a big ballpark upgrade for Julio Urias as well, but he's a guy that seems to oftentimes have pitch limitations, and I just don't like that when I'm paying up for a guy. Last time he had 95. The 2 times before, he was in the mid-80s when he got pulled. If you want to go there, sure, but I think there's some guys with some longer leashes. Jack Flaherty taking on the Kansas City Royals. Expected to return from the IL. I would expect for him to be limited in this one, so I wouldn't really be too interested in him. He should have some pretty heavy workload restrictions, so probably a no for me. Nick Pivetta is a high-risk, high-upside option against Baltimore because he does have a high K rate, but he does give up a bunch of hard contact. As far as the Vegas lines are concerned, he is a 252 favorite. That's a ridiculously heavy favorite. And he is taking on the Baltimore Orioles, who do strike out quite a bit. So you get the gist of it there. High risk, high upside. He could get blown up, but Tyler Magle taking on the Dodgers. That's a no for me. The Dodgers lineup's just too good. Gomber taking on San Francisco. If you want to go there, sure, it's in San Francisco. He has pretty decent stuff, but is he going to be a top option of mine? Probably not. They have a 4.5 implied run total. The Giants have a very solid lineup, both against lefties and righties. They can throw guys in and out to come at you from both sides. Albert Alzolay taking on a Miami squad that doesn't scare us at all, so he's a guy that I'm going to have interest in with a 24.4% carry overall, a 28.5% carry against righties, and a 20.2% carry against lefties. He is very bad against righties, very good against, very bad against lefties, very good against righties. And when you're looking at this Miami Marlins lineup up and down, they are very right-handed heavy. It's in Miami, which is the best pitching environment you could ask for in baseball. He's only 6'7" on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 7.6. So Alzolay getting up to 90, 100 pitches, 7 Ks last time out against the Chicago White Sox team. He's a high-risk guy, but things kind of add up. It's in Miami. Best pitching environment you could ask for. Best matchup you could probably ask for as far as Miami's concerned. They're rolling out like a double-A lineup at this point, it seems like. And I think you'd be kind of foolish to not at least give him a look on this slate tonight. And then once we get past him, honestly, I'm really not interested in anyone else as we go along here for the most part. Maybe you could find someone that's sneaky that you're really liking. Zach Plezak's taking on the Detroit Tigers. You can always target them, but he just really hasn't been that good. He doesn't really strike anyone out. Could he go out there and get a bunch of strikeouts against Detroit? Absolutely. So that's why I'm bringing him up. So with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, scaling our active EA, worst to best, and figure out the pitchers that we want to target. Sierra's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in the season, how good he's expected to be in the future, and the worst on the slate today is going to be Spencer Watkins taking on the Boston Red Sox. Comes in really struggling at everything across the board outside of hard contact, but then when you're breaking down his splits, he's still giving you up a 492 slugging to righties, a 357 slugging to lefties. He actually has been a lot better against lefties, ironically. But I don't think that's going to stop us from targeting every single bat in this Red Sox lineup because, let's be honest, expected to go absolutely off. Their run total is approaching about 7 runs with a 6.85 implied run total. That is a massive total. If that doesn't catch your eye, I don't know what will. That would be the highest total I've seen on the season. That's the highest total I've seen in quite some time. So it's going to be a scary fading the Red Sox today, even though it's a huge slate. Clearly the number one option. The Baltimore Orioles bullpen's terrible. It's in Fenway, 87 degrees with 5-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. Great hitting weather. And Enrique Hernandez, Alex Verdugo, Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, JD Martinez, Hunter Renfroe, Jarren Duran, Kevin Plawecki, Franchy Cordero can target every single hitter in this lineup. They're expected to just go off, and for that reason, I mean, hard to ignore, guys. Boston's got to be in your core for sure today. Mitch Keller taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. He's been terrible across the board all season long with a 522 slugging unit to righties, a 508 slugging unit to lefties. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's been terrible. Hard contact stuff's been terrible. He's been giving up a lot of walks. Should be plenty of traffic on the base paths, and the Milwaukee Brewers have been a very hot offense. So all these things are kind of adding up. Game's expected to be in Pittsburgh. That's the only downside. Bad hitting ballpark in PNC Park, but they do have a 5.29 implied run total, and you can definitely be looking to some Milwaukee Brewers tonight. Colton Wong, Christian Yelich, Willy Adames, Eduardo Escobar, Omar Narvaez, Avisail Garcia, Rowdy Tellez, Lorenzo Cain, all of the above can be looking to them today. And yeah, I mean, you got to like the Milwaukee Brewers for sure. And another stack that you can be looking to today. Zach Plesac taking on the Detroit Tigers. We had mentioned he really hasn't been the greatest with a 479 slugging against righties, but it's really only been against righties and he doesn't give up a lot of fly balls. So I'm not even going to entertain playing Detroit. Sure, if you want to get cute, I don't think it's really all that necessary. Jesus Luzardo taking on the Chicago Cubs has been a guy that's been struggling all season long, specifically against right-handed power with a 582 slugging up to righties with a 404 WOBA. That is not going to get the job done. Against lefties, he has been much more effective. But the Chicago Cubs righties can definitely be put in play today. The problem is they're in Miami, not the best hitting environment, and they have a washed-up lineup now with only a 3.61 implied run total. So you can't deny the fact that you'll get them low-owned. David Bodie, Matt Duffy, Patrick Wisdom, Frank Schwindel, Ian Happ, Robson Chirinos, Andrew Romine. You can play all of them against this left-handed hurler. The Miami bullpen doesn't scare us, but just keep in mind the ballpark's going to be really tough to get out of there. Cole Irvin taking on Texas, left-handed hurler. Really, he hasn't been that bad, to be honest, outside of Sierra. I think that has more so to do with the fact that he's just allowing the ball to be put in play without his without a high K rate. But his ground ball, fly ball, slugging, as far as all that's concerned, is really not that high from a fantasy aspect. And it's in Texas. In Texas, the lineup's just really not that great. So not getting all too excited to target the Texas Rangers lineup. Chris Flexen taking on Toronto. Toronto's a lineup that we always get excited to target. Flexen has taken a long stride forward this season. He's been a lot better, but when you're looking at his stuff, he's still getting up a 474 slugging to righties. Lefties, he has been much more effective, but the problem is he's taking on a very right-handed heavy lineup in the Toronto Blue Jays tonight, and that could lead to some issues for him. It's not the best hitting environment, as mentioned, in Seattle, but we have guys like George Springer, Marcus Semien, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Teoscar Hernandez, Lourdes Gurriel, Corey Dickerson. Lots of talent throughout this Toronto Blue Jays lineup, and you have to have interest in stacking them up every single time because that's just the fact. They have a bunch of talent. Zach Greinke taking on the Los Angeles Angels is a guy that most people typically won't want to target because he does have a lot of name value, was once one of the best pitchers in the league, but if you look at his splits here, has been really, really struggling against right-handed hitting. So you make an argument for all of the righties in the Los Angeles Angels lineup. Unfortunately, their lineup really isn't that good, which is something I feel like I'm saying a lot on this slate, and that's something that I want to bring to everyone's attention. When you're stacking up teams, I do value the talent throughout the entire lineup because you need lineups to turn over, you need guys to keep getting on base, you need guys to keep getting hits and producing so that your hitters can come back up. Even if your other hitters that you don't have in your stack aren't doing that great, they need to be doing something to keep the lineup flowing, whether it be working the pitcher's pitch count, etc., working walks. And maybe the Angels could do so, but not feeling too great about it. They do have quite a few righties: David Fletcher, Justin Upton, Max Stassi, Jose Iglesias, Joe Adell, Jack Mayfield. Could get them low-owned, but not the best spot for sure. Just something I wanted to make note of. Blake Snell took on Arizona, giving up a lot of hard contact to righties, as mentioned. Arizona's really not a lineup I'm looking to target, though, so we can skip over them. The next lineup that I'll be looking to target is the San Diego Padres, taking on Madison Bumgarner. 40.5% hard contact rate on the season. That's the worst on the slate, with a 416 slugging unit to righties, a 492 slugging unit to lefties. That's not going to get the job done. And the Padres have a very good lineup. So Tommy Pham, Adam Frazier, Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth, Austin Nola, Eric Hosmer, Will Myers, Jake Marisnick. Expected to have a lot of lefties in there, and ironically, excuse me, ironically, we're not really all too worried about that because, you know, you can still go ahead and target those lefties against the guy that's giving up that much hard contact to lefties. I mean, it's not ideal, but might be getting them low owned, and you can definitely take advantage. Tyler Alexander taking on the Cleveland Indians, very easy to break down, very good against lefties, very bad against righties. We can target him with right-handed power in a major way, and these Cleveland Indians bats should have quite a few righties in there today. Looking at their lineup, let's see here. They have a 4.75 implied run total, 81 degrees with 9-mile-an-hour winds blowing up. That's solid. I will mention the Detroit Tigers do have a 4.75 implied run total. I mentioned not targeting Zach Plesac that much, but keep that in mind. That's actually pretty impressive for a Detroit squad. So, you know, Vegas is very good at what they do. When I see a total that's that high, it tends to swing my analysis a little bit. I'll have to dig in some pitch data for Plesac. But on the Cleveland side, Miles Straw, Alan Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, Oscar Mercado, Owen Miller, Austin Hedges, Ernie Clement. All these righties will be in play against Tyler Alexander. And the Detroit bullpen is terrible. You can be looking to target them. Then things get a lot less interesting very quickly. We do have Michael Pineda taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. A guy that doesn't do the greatest job in limiting the hard contact and ground ball, fly ball stuff to either side. And the Tampa Bay Rays lineup is absolutely loaded now. So I think the Rays could be a great spot for you to be looking to next on this slate today with a 5.01 implied run total in Minnesota. Minnesota's bullpen is terrible. Brandon Lau, G-Man Choi, Nelson Cruz, Austin Meadows, Wander Franco, Randy Rosarino, Joey Wendell, Kevin Kiermaier, absolutely loaded up and down are the Tampa Bay Rays. And I do think that you could be looking to target them today for sure. And then as we go along here, we have Mike Minor taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. He's a guy that's been giving up quite a bit of hard contact to righties if you want to stack up the righties on the St. Louis Cardinals, which they are very right-handed heavy. As far as the ballpark that they're playing in today, let's see here. It's in Kansas City, Kauffman Stadium. Not the greatest, but they do have a 4.53 implied run total. And they do have some lefty sluggers and guys like Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Tyler O'Neill, Yadier Molina, Harrison Bader, Paul DeJong, Sousa, Jose Rodon. I don't think you're crazy at all if you go there. And then things get a lot less interesting pretty quickly. I mean, we mentioned Alzolay struggles against lefties. The problem is he's taking on Miami. It's really not that interesting. Josiah Gray is a guy that we talked about. He has a big K rate, but he does give up a lot of hard contact so far in an 18 innings pitch sample size. And for that reason, you could definitely be looking to some Atlanta bats. I think the Atlanta Braves run total could be a pretty hefty one today. On the road in Washington, great hitting environment. And if Gray's not getting strikeouts, he might be giving up a lot of home runs here. So the Atlanta Braves could definitely be looking to fully stack them. Don't forget about them. And then we have Tyler Magle's issues against lefties and the Dodgers. So the Dodgers lefties are going to be great plays taking on him. He's just been terrible against lefties, so don't want to forget to leave that out. You got Max Muncy in there, Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, Billy McKinney. And lastly, if I had to bring up anything else, it'd be Tyler Mahley's hard contact issues against righties. Philadelphia in a good hitting environment in Philadelphia. If you want to stack up this team with a 4.85 implied run total, they also will be viable. You could even throw the lefties and target Mahle because when he goes downhill, he usually goes downhill pretty quick. He will have it blown up from time to time. So with all that being said, before I let you guys go, I'm going to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Jose Ramirez taking on Tyler Alexander. We had mentioned his hard contact issues against righties. Does a terrible job of keeping the ball on the ground. It gives up a 42.6% hard contact rate. That's worst on the slate to right-handed hitters. 509 slugging, a 360 wob with a 47.5% fly ball rate. That's not going to get the job done. And then when you're breaking down his repertoire, very reliant on the fastball combinations here. Does throw a straight up fastball, a curveball, a cutter, and a sinker, all fastball combinations. And when you're looking at Jose Ramirez as a hitter, just absolutely matches all of the above. Great fastball hitter. As far as the regular fastball, it's a 313 ISO with a 381 WOBA for Jose Ramirez. And then when you go to the cutter, he also matches that as well. Off left-handed pitching, a 424 ISO with a 436 WOBA. And lastly, the sinker is not an issue for Jose Ramirez either with a 318 ISO with a 476 WOBA. I think Tyler Alexander is going to have his hands full here with Jose Ramirez. Love this spot. Get him in your lineup because he is my home run call of the day. So there we have it, guys. Jose Ramirez, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. That would be awesome. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight. We will see you in the next one.